Hey guys, welcome back to Call Me After Coffee. My name is Brie. If you're new here, welcome, and if you've been around for a while, thanks for coming back. I wanted to do a Things I Love in Books video. If you missed it, I do have a Things I Hate in Books, which I will put up in a card here. So getting right into it, these are just some things that I wrote down off the top of my head that I really enjoy in books that I could just think of really quickly. I will probably do another video at some point once I have updated or found more things that I really enjoy in books. For starters, I really love foodies. Like when people explain what they're eating or just like food in general, like I am always salivating when I'm reading about food. I cannot read the Game of Thrones or a Song of Ice and Fire series without getting hungry. Everything sounds so good. Also, in A Gentleman in Moscow, there's like a really famous restaurant in the book and everything that they make sounds incredible. Like I wish that there was a Gentleman in Moscow like cookbook companion thing because I would be so down for eating everything that the Count ate in that book. It was so, like, it just sounded so delicious, and maybe it's also because I love to snack while I read, and I'm just, like, always want to be snacking, like, while I have a book open because I always get hungry while I'm reading. But yeah, the first thing that I really love in books is food and, like, really intricate descriptions of it. Like, I don't know why, but I love it. Next thing on the list is flower shops. I don't think I have many books that have flower shops. I'm not entirely sure, but flower shops, flowers, like when they explain what things look like, I love stuff like that. A book that comes to mind is The Last Time I Saw Paris. It's about a woman who ends up like working in a flower shop, and it's really sweet, really cute. Actually kind of an underrated book, I think, on YouTube. Not many people that, like, I haven't seen it anywhere except for Krista Books and Jams hauled it one day, and that reminded me that I had it on my shelf, and so I read it, and I actually really liked it. So I would recommend that. It's a historical fiction. It's a really sweet story. It's really good. I really liked it, and like I have pretty fond feelings of it even a couple months after finishing it. The next thing that I really love in books are broken families, which sounds horrible, but I love like reading about like broken childhoods or like broken families, and maybe it's because my brother passed away when I was younger, and it like, so our family is like it has things going on, but I don't know, maybe I just relate to like the heartbreak when people lose family members, and so I find it like comforting to read about other people who would feel the same way that I do. A couple good examples would be like The Outsiders. I really liked The Outsiders. I fell for the characters really quickly, and I loved like the brother group and then like the friend group that surrounded that. And another one would be Bridge of Clay. I really loved Bridge of Clay. You guys know this. I talk about it, I gush about it. Every time I bring it up, I get really excited about it. But Bridge of Clay is a book about a family whose mother passes away and the father leaves, and I think it's 5 brothers, the Dunbar brothers, and they're really like, I like when they're like really gritty. Like these boys are really gritty. They're not like bad. They're scrappy and they like love to gamble, and I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like it's similar to The Outsiders and the dynamic between the brothers, but I love that dynamic of like the older sibling like raising the younger ones and just like taking care of everything, and it's really heartbreaking but really endearing all at the same time. I have to apologize. I know my voice sounds really like maybe nasally or weird. I am definitely coming down with a cold, and I wanted to film a couple videos in case it got bad and then I didn't have anything to post. So I'm sorry my voice is weird, but it'll probably be worse tomorrow. The next thing that I really love is found family, whether this is like someone discovering their family or someone building families out of, or a family out of like finding friendship. And a couple of really good examples and recommendations for this one would be A Man Called Uva is a beautiful story. It has a really dark underlying theme. I don't want to spoil it. You find it out pretty early in the book, but it has this really dark theme, but it's balanced so well with like sarcastic like wittiness and some silliness and love and like this whole like neighborhood kind of like, it's like this whole beautiful story of someone just finding a family, and I adore it. I really loved that book. It completely busted my heart up into a million pieces this summer. And the other is also a Frederick Bachman book, another recommendation, and that would be My Grandmother. There's like a bunch of different titles. I usually just refer to it as my grandmother, but my grandmother sends her regards and apologizes, or my grandmother asked me to tell you she's sorry, are a couple of the titles. I don't know if there's a third one or not, but it's about this little girl whose grandmother is her best friend. She's kind of a social outcast, and her grandmother dies. And so she ends up, like, she has family, but she ends up building this, like, whole abundance of, like, friends and people that become family all around her, and it's such a sweet story. It's a little bit more whimsical and, like, almost, not magical, but a little. It has, like, that whimsy aspect. It is based around a 7-year-old, so it could be taken as imagination. It could be taken a couple different ways. But if you can get through the little bits that are a little confusing, everything ties together and, like, comes together in such a beautiful, heartbreaking but also endearing way at the end. And, like, Frederick Bachman is easily one of my favorite authors. I absolutely love everything that I've ever read by him. It's just, he's great. The next thing on the list is just a really big gut punch. Some people really, really hate books that make them cry. If a book can make me bawl like a baby, it is almost instantly a 5-star. Like, I love books that make me cry. I love books that break my heart. It makes me feel, I don't know, I love feeling, like I get so into the story and my heart just breaks. I would give recommendations, but there are so many books on my shelves. I should do a video about just books that make me cry, actually. If you want to see that, comment down below, because I feel like that would be kind of fun to just pull all the books off my shelf that made me cry, because there's a lot of them. Someone was asked, there was like a tag one day, and I don't think I ended up doing it because one of the questions was like, what are feel-good books? And at the time, every single book was like heartbreaking. There are some feel-good books now, so I could maybe do whatever that tag was. But definitely I have a tendency to be drawn toward books that are just completely heartbreaking, which is probably why I have such a soft spot for historical fiction, because historical fiction is just inherently heartbreaking most of the time. The next one on the list is like the hard, nice guy. I don't really know how to put this, but like, you know, the tough guy who's kind of like broody and like not necessarily like mean, not like abusive mean, but like someone who's like kind of guarded and tough and like doesn't really let people in, and then like the walls come down. I am a sucker for that. I know that's like very cliche, but cliches are cliches for a reason. I really love that. Like when people think they're not good enough, or they think that like they're bad or whatever, and like the other person can see the good in them. I love stuff like that, and especially if they've been like hurt or broken for some reason. Like I'm a sucker for that kind of a trope. Like I love that in stories a lot. I can't think off the top of my head like a specific book that I would recommend for that, but it's definitely something that I really like. Books and movies, definitely. And then the very last thing that I have is I really love funny side characters. I really loved Clubs and Breeze in the Mistborn series. I loved their banter. They made me laugh constantly. And in The Way of Kings, I love the character Rock. He is so stinking funny. Everything that he says makes me laugh. Like, he's so funny, and I really love his character. It's just, he's so great. And like, I feel like a lot of times, like in the books that I read, there aren't funny characters, and I didn't even know it was something that I really loved until more recently. But just when there's that really sarcastic banter, and you've got like those friendships, and they all kind of like make fun of each other, not in like a mean way, but like, you know how like, at least with my close friends, like we'll tease each other. I have a bunch of friends where like we just tease each other, and it's like all jokes, but it's just funny and like really sarcastic, silly things. I love that in books. That's definitely something that I really enjoy, and I think Sanderson does a really, really good job of it in the Mistborn series. And like I said, I've only read The Way of Kings, the first book in the Stormlight Archive, but I really loved like the funny banter that was in that. And I just think he does a really good job. Anyway, that's everything that I could think of for this particular video. Like I said, I'll have to add to the list and see if I can update it with more things that I love in the future. Don't forget to check out that video. It's up. If you click on the eye, it'll pop down if you didn't click on it in the beginning, and I will talk to you guys all super soon. Let me know down in the comment section what are some tropes or just some like things that you really love to read about. They can be really specific or really broad. That's totally fine, but let me know down below what are some things that you really love to read about in books, or things that like instantly make you want to pick up a book. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already, and the bell so you don't miss future notifications. I do upload most Mondays and Thursdays, and I will talk to you guys all in my next video. Thanks so much for hanging out. Bye!